Hello everybody. Today we're going to talk about how to overcome procrastination due to clutter. Doesn't that sound like fun? I hope so, because I love this topic because we have so much power when we dig into this. Okay, so here's our topic today, procrastination, right? There's the sad face because procrastination does not feel good. All right, so here is the deal. Our Instagram account has been blowing up. It's insane. It's crazy. I posted, in fact, I'm going to pull this up here. I posted a post, actually, my assistant Sharon posted a post a few days ago, and it was all about procrastination and clutter, and it went bonkers. Okay, it went through the roof, and we had so many people that were. Some of them were happy, and some of them were felt seen, and they were in agreement, and they were like, "Yes, this is me," and some of them were not happy. So I want to talk about that, and then I want to give you my tips for how to overcome this, because this is what we do here. This is my job, is to help you figure out how to overcome this, so you can let go of the clutter, and you can live your life and enjoy your life. Now, I'm not going to tell you to get rid of everything. That is not my job. My job is not to make you feel bad, okay? If you are feeling like guilty or judged, please take a checkpoint, because that's not what we are about here, okay? So, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so this is the quote, all right? I'm going to show you. I don't think you can see it, but it looks kind of like this, all right? And it says, "Clutter is the physical manifestation of unmade decisions fueled by procrastination." A little bit of a mouthful. Okay, unmade decisions fueled by procrastination. Okay, now if you have a lot of things in your house and you love all these things and you're using them, then I would say this is not clutter to you. Okay, do not think that because you have a messy house this is automatically clutter. If you're like, "I love my things, would you just leave me alone?" No problem. Live your life. Go in peace. Okay, this is not for you if this is how you feel. This quote and everything we do is for people that do want to let go. Okay, and so this quote really struck a nerve with a lot of people. And like I said, we had hundreds of comments. Okay, so I'm just going to share a few with you because I think it's really important that we dig into this. Okay, so some people said, "Story of my life." Healing to Happiness said, "Damn, that's me." Liz said, "Help, I'm drowning in it," right? And all of that. Okay, so we had a lot of that. A lot of you said, "Yes, this is me, now what?" Okay, and we have help for you. But I want to talk about the people who were unhappy. Okay, there were a lot of people that were like, "No, it's not. I just have a lot of kids, or I have other priorities," right? Like, stop judging me. Like, stop. People felt like I was attacking them. Okay, I'm not attacking you. My my 11-year-old asked me yesterday. He said, "Mom, who do you hate? There's got to be someone you hate." And I was like, "Dude, I don't hate anybody. Like, why would I hate people? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "Come on, there must be someone you want that you don't like." And I said, "Well, that's different, right? I don't like. I just That's just not who I am." Okay. Now, are there people that I don't want to spend time with? For sure, of course, 100%. But that doesn't mean I hate them. Doesn't mean that I wish them ill. It doesn't mean, it doesn't mean any of that. And he didn't believe me, but it's true, right? Like, I am not here on this earth to judge anybody. That's just not, like, why would I do that? Okay, so I just want to put that out there. And again, we had a lot of people that were really, really unhappy by this quote, right? Because they felt like I was judging them. But I kind of think that the people who did feel judged, like, maybe there is something inside them that does want to change, something that isn't satisfied. And so that's why they felt compelled to push back, right? Because they don't want to hear it, right? Like, if you see something or if you hear something and you're like, "Oh, that's just not for me," you just go on. You just keep scrolling. You go on with your day, right? You don't care. But if it strikes a nerve, that is when you care, and that is when you may push back. So I thought that was really, really interesting. Again, a lot of people, a lot of really positive, and yes, this is me, and now what? And that's what we're going to talk about today. But then also a lot of people who were like, this is, you're a terrible person, and how could you possibly say this? Okay, so super, super interesting reactions. fascinating, right? It's a quote, it's a meme. We're not going to cover every situation in the world in 10 words. I don't think that could happen. Okay, all right, good. So now we got that out of the way. Okay, so why does this happen? Okay, we need to talk about why this happens before we can talk about how to fix it, right? If you don't know why you are procrastinating, then how could you possibly try to fix it? You really need to know at least a little bit about what's going on. Okay, so I have a few questions for you to ask yourself. Again, if you are in this situation, right? If you're not, you're good. All right. Don't take this as judgment or something that's unreasonable. This is all to serve you. So ask yourself, how can I use this to serve me? The first question is your procrastination specific to your clutter in your home, or is it kind of everything? Are you procrastinating about everything? Right? Are you putting off all kinds of things that you really want to have done? Or is it just about the clutter? Like maybe you kind of have the rest of your life under control and it's just the clutter that you are procrastinating on. That is one situation, right? Another situation would be if you procrastinate about everything, right? Then it's probably not due to the clutter. It's probably something different, something bigger going on in your life, okay? Maybe there's a depression issue going on or something like that. So, if that's the case, then you want to address that, right? Don't start tearing apart the closets and emptying the garage and all of that, right? Deal with the bigger issue, right? Really important there. Just figure out, like, again, am I procrastinating on everything, or just on, is it mainly confined to, to dealing with the clutter? Maybe you just don't know what to do, right? That can be a real source of procrastination. You just don't know what to do. Of course, you're not going to take action. You're going to be like, I don't know, where do I go, right? If you're uncertain, then it's going to be really hard to take action. You might start something and then you're like, I don't know if this is working. I'm a little confused here. And then you jump around, okay? Next question. Are you procrastinating due to really big emotions? Okay, maybe you have, boxes from a loved one and you can't even think about dealing with those boxes. Every time you look at them, you start to cry. That is going to be a different situation than just dealing with, random whatever that you're not super attached to, right? Are we dealing with big emotions, or are we just dealing with kind of, oh, this is just like random stuff that I haven't gotten around to? I'm not super attached to this stuff. I just haven't, I'm just kind of like putting it off. Those are two different situations, and they're going to require different solutions, okay? The next question that you want to ask yourself, is this just my brain being afraid of change? Okay, our brains are amazing, and I've heard different figures that we use, maybe we use 10% of our brain, maybe it's even less, right? Our brains are the most amazing, wonderful, sophisticated creation in the universe, right? And they are so powerful. But sometimes this works against us, doesn't it? It does. Because part of your brain's job is to keep you safe. And it doesn't like change, right? It doesn't know that, you don't live in a little tiny village and you need to stay in the tribe or you're going to die. It doesn't know that, you can't be cast out to the wolves and then you have to fend for yourself and you're going to die of, exposure. This doesn't happen to us anymore. But our brains don't know that. Our brains have not caught up to the 21st century. So your brain thinks change is scary. It thinks, oh, let's not get rid of that little piece of string. Let's not get rid of those paper towel tubes, right? We had another meme that was going viral, and it was like, keeping the paper towel tubes, the empty cardboard tubes and the toilet paper tubes, the rolls, right? And people are like, well, you could use that. You could start seeds in that. You could have crafts. And I'm like, I know, I hear you. But some of you have 500 of those and you don't like to garden and you're not doing any crafts. so just because you could, it doesn't mean that you necessarily should, right? So maybe your brain is just like, I don't like change. This is scary. I'm out. Okay, that is a real thing. Now, if this is what's happening for you, you just want to be aware of it. You just want to notice, oh, I guess my brain is just kind of having a little fit here, right? But nothing has gone wrong. It's totally normal. I'm a human being. This is what human brains do, okay? This is good news. You don't have to worry that, like you're the only one, because you're not. Oh my goodness. There's millions of you. I promise you, You are one of millions who has the exact same thoughts about this. Okay, so um, if it's just fear of change, if your brain is just a little nervous and you're not used to it, then it's all good, right? Now we can take action from that point. And how to do that, we'll get to that, okay? Maybe you're just afraid, right? Maybe you just have like built it up to such a thing that, it's like such a big deal that you can't do anything, right? Have you ever like done that? It's like you make it more and more important, and then it's like you're completely paralyzed, right? That will cause you to procrastinate. Of course it will. Okay, so spend a little time, figure out what is fueling your procrastination. Okay, sometimes we procrastinate because we think there's a better time, and we honestly, truly believe this. We think, oh, life is so busy right now. Seriously, it's so busy. Next month will be better. Okay, I want to tell you, this is a lie. This is your brain being sneaky. Next month will not be better. I promise you. Maybe you get a little bit freed up, but then something else is going to come up. And in fact, if you learn how to declutter in times that are not ideal, that is so much better, right? Wouldn't it be better to learn how to deal with your clutter when you're already busy? Wouldn't it be better to learn how to fit it in with the rest of your life instead of waiting for the magical moment when the stars align and the kids are, like all happy for hours on end and nobody needs you, right? Like, when is that ever going to happen? Never. Never. Much better if you can learn how to fit it into your regular, busy, normal life. I promise you, this is so much more useful to you. Because if you can do it during a busy time, then you can do it at any time. And that is so much more useful to you. Now, okay, there may be times you're like, I'm not at home. I'm out of town for the next 2 weeks. Okay, I hear you. But don't put that out forever. Don't tell yourself you're just waiting for the right time, because there is no right time. There's only now. Okay, so that's something that happens, right? You're waiting for the right time. The next thing that I see a lot is people think there is a right way to do this, and they think there's a wrong way to do this. And of course, we don't want to do it the wrong way. Nobody wants to do it wrong. You like, where do I start? How much time do I spend? What do I do with this thing? Right? This happens a lot. Um, Here's how you know what to do with this thing. You try it. You figure it out. You dig into that box, and you pull something out, and you make a decision. And then you act on that decision, and then you figure out if it was the right one or not. You don't know if it's right or wrong until you are done. How about that? And this is how we learn. This is good news. There's no decluttering police, except maybe yourself, right? You may beat yourself up later. You may regret it later, but that is a choice. And you don't have to do that to yourself. And it's all okay. And it's okay if you get rid of something and then you discover the very next day that you actually kind of wanted that thing. You kind of needed that. Okay, so you made a wrong decision, but you also got rid of 99 other things. So I'd still consider that a win, right? Let's not expect perfectionism of ourselves. That is ridiculous. Human beings are not perfect, and if we were, we would be robots, and that's super boring. Nobody wants that. So be on to yourself if you are falling into that trap, and it's real sneaky. It's real subtle, but if you are falling into the trap, I don't want to do it wrong. I don't want to make a mistake, right? Be on to yourself and be like, oh, hang on. No, we're not going to go there. We have to try things out before we know if it's right or wrong for us. And then guess what? We know for the next time. And that's good news. And that is how we learn, right? And so the opposite of learning is staying put and letting the stuff pile up. And you don't want that, right? The opposite of making progress and growing is not just staying in one place, it's actually going backwards. Okay, there is no staying in one place, right? You're either improving or you're like degrading because there's stuff coming in the door, right? There's stuff coming into your house. So you have to be actively letting things go. Otherwise, the levels just keep rising. It's like the water. The water is rising unless you are actively letting it out, okay? Okay, the next thing that causes people to procrastinate is they think they have to go big. They think, oh, yeah, there's so much stuff here. We have to go big. We have to do the whole thing. We have to let everything go, and I don't want to do that. That sounds awful, so I'm just going to hang on to all of it. right? Or they think, oh, we have to get this whole thing done. I don't have a lot of time, right? We're crunched for time, so we got to do the whole thing. Well, okay, that kind of an attitude is for sure going to cause you to procrastinate. You're going to shut down, right? Do not do that to yourself. Maybe you do that later when you are in a better place, when you have some practice, when you've gotten a little bit of success, but don't do it for the beginning, or don't do it if you are stuck in procrastination, right? So if you are in that place of like kind of paralysis, and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, you got to do one little thing. You got to keep it really, really small, because that is how you circumvent your brain wanting to stay safe. You say, let's just get rid of one thing, like literally one thing. Can I find one thing to get rid of? Can I find two things to get rid of? Can I spend 10 minutes on this today? And your brain that really hates change will probably be like, oh, okay. All right, fine. As long as we don't have to do this for 90 hours in a row, right? And that's how we kind of circumvent that. So don't go big, go small, right? And this brain also that wants to keep you safe is at the same time, this is so ironic, right? Your brain is like, don't make any changes, but also a little bit is not enough, and you have to do a lot. It's like this ridiculous dichotomy here. The brain wants to do everything and nothing at the same time, and that would be lovely, right? No, that doesn't make any sense. So just do little bits at a time, make progress and be consistent. That is the solution to literally any project you want to accomplish, right? Is to show up over and over and over and over again. And it works, even if it's only 10 minutes at a time. Okay, so don't go big, go small. Okay. And then the last one, I think this is really important. A lot of people do not declutter. They do not dig into their clutter because they are afraid of how they're going to feel when they're done. They're going to say, I last time I tried this, I got rid of something and then I needed it and I will never do that to myself again. And it's like, well, you decided to beat yourself up. Okay, so don't do that. That is something that you can say, I will not do that. I will not talk to myself that way. That is not how we operate around here anymore. And your brain, again, getting back to this primitive brain, your brain is going to be like, but this is just how we feel about ourselves. And you can say, we're not going there. There's a new sheriff in town, and we don't do that anymore. We don't talk to ourselves like that, and I will not. I'm going to be here for myself. I am willing to have my own back. I'm willing to take care of myself, even if that means that I do something that I later kind of feel crappy about. It's all part of the process. And you got to be willing to practice and to fail and to fall down, because that is how you get stronger. Okay? So all of those times when you made mistakes and you failed, that is actually learning. It is not optional. It is instrumental to you making progress. And it's so important that you understand that, okay? So you just got to be willing. You got to be willing. You got to say, I'm not going to beat myself up. I am in this to learn, because when we learn, that's how we grow. And as human beings, we need to grow. We need to be growing, and that feels good, right? Okay, so let's say you're all in. You're like, okay, sounds great. I'm in. Now what? I'm ready. Now what do I do? Okay. We have lots of help for you. If you're in our membership, you have lots of tools. Reach out if you need some help on deciding where to start. But in a nutshell, all you have to do is pick one thing, right? Set your timer for 10 minutes. Pick one thing. Maybe you go through, I don't know. Maybe you go through the t-shirts, or maybe you go through all the white t-shirts, and you just say, I'm just going to get rid of all of the ones that I do not need and I do not want, and that's it. And then you move on with your day. Okay? And then you do it again tomorrow and the next day, and before you know it, you will have done so much work. Okay? So I want to build it in to your life. We don't want this to be, a once a quarter event or once every 10 years. When you wait that long, now we have a real issue to deal with. But if you can build this into your regular daily life, so much easier, so much simpler. All right. If you are not in a community, we would love to have you in ours. Our membership is not quite open yet, but we will be opening very soon. So keep your eyes open for that, and just go do something. All right. Go and take action. Taking action feels so good. I promise you. Maybe a little scary at the beginning, but also very rewarding. You're going to feel like, I did it. Yes. And we want that. That is the feeling that I want for you. that feeling of I did something, I took action, and even if it's one little tiny thing, it still counts because it all counts. All right, that's what I have for you today. Overcome that procrastination. Let us know how it goes, and I'll see you back here next week. Take care, everyone.